Okay. Good afternoon. Regular session, Mayor and City Council meeting, 6 p.m. Wednesday, June 5th, City Council Complex. I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to request the mayor, if you could please call for a moment of silence to remember the World War II veterans that will be celebrating the 75th anniversary of D-Day tomorrow.
Yes, I understand. We'll take a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. 75 years.
75 years.
Yes, call to the public. Do you have anybody? Letty, call to the
I don't
public.
have any applications.
We don't have anybody? Okay, thank you. Number 4, discussion and action items. Number 1, discussion possible action, distribution of the second half of 2018 holiday bonus pay for employees. Mr. Varona, this is your
Thank you.
item like this. So
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
yes.
We appropriated during the last fiscal year budget $1,000 for a pay for the employees. We give it out in December. It's not really a holiday pay. It's instead of giving a 2%, which would cost us a lot more, or 1%, we decided to give $1,000 at that time. We approved that as a mayor and council. Then in December, we had some financial concerns. As far as the situation that was happening in Mexico, because we depend upon the tourism in Mexico for our tax revenue in order to meet these obligations. So we agreed that we would wait till April or May to make a final decision and wait for a recommendation from the city manager. It's my point right now that the city manager, along with our chief financial officer, are recommending that we pay the $500 commitment that we made to the employees. And I do support the city manager on this. I think that all of our employees are deserving of this additional $500. As we're working on the budget right now, Mayor, there is no bonus next year, no salary increase for the employees next year, because we're in a tight predicament with our revenues. We're $1 million short. We've had to make some cuts. We're looking to make more cuts right now. But I think at this time, unless Dr. Felix indicates to me that he's withdrawn his recommendation, have you, or you're still recommending this?
Well, at this point, given what we discussed in the budget hearing this last couple of days, perhaps it'd be more prudent to pass on this award at this time.
Okay, so Dr. Felix, then previously you said you recommended it. Now you're saying you're withdrawing that recommendation.
Yes, I am.
Well, Mr. Mayor, you know, I have to go with the recommendation of the city manager on these matters, because we depend upon him and our chief financial officer, Mrs. Perales, to guide us financially, to make sure that we don't get into trouble. I don't want to get into any kind of financial difficulties, especially to come to the point of laying off employees or anything like that. So I think we should all yield to the recommendation of Dr. Felix on this and just go ahead and skip this. We've addressed this publicly. We've come to a conclusion based on the recommendation. I think we can, unless somebody else has something else, move on to the next item on the
Well,
agenda.
I'd like to say something. I was going to just mention, Mr. Honor, because I've been talking to the finance director since I came into office in January, and she basically told me that we had dropped on sales tax, since then, and we don't foresee anything in the near future. And if we do get hit with tariffs, and we do get hit with a lot of possible tomato suspension, I don't foresee, just like you, I don't foresee us having good revenues by our holiday season. And so that's why when we first brought it up, I opposed it because I had already spoken to her and I didn't feel comfortable. But I'm glad you brought this up, and I'm glad you feel the way you feel, because I know you're very conservative and you like to take care of the people's money. And I too, I believe that this should be skipped, but I don't want to table it. I want to make sure that this is something that doesn't come back.
No, it should not come back. We made it, we're not taking a vote, but we have reached consensus here, Mayor. Based on the recommendation of the city manager, we've decided that we're gonna move on, save the money, and see to work on our next budget with the money that we have.
Thank you very much. Members of the City Council, does anybody else have any discussion on this?
Do we need to take a vote on that, or just?
No, we don't. We'll just. All right. Is it okay, Mr. Massey, the way we're doing it?
Yes.
That's okay?
No problem.
All right. Item number 2, discussion possible action amending the current city attorney's job description and recruitment efforts.
With
Mr.
your
Massey?
permission?
Yes, sir. Huh?
Can I step out?
Oh, good.
With your permission, I would like to just be out of the work area here,
Oh.
let you all do your work.
Okay, Mr. Massey. All right. Mr. Kissinger?
So, Mr. Mayor, in our last meeting, council indicated that there might be a will to modify the job description of the city attorney. More specifically, I believe you all were looking at changing the years of experience required from 7 to 5.
Yes.
And we said that we would bring that question back for an official vote, which that's what this item is. So if that's still your desire, and when we got that vote, we'll go ahead and modify that so we can do the job.
You want to do everything in one vote, or just modify the time?
I think if you just modify the time, we'll amend the years of service from 7 to 5. We'll make the change on the job description moving forward.
And you're going to make the change on the salary increase too?
No, that has nothing to do with the job description. We got that. We didn't need to bring that back.
You don't need to. Yes, go ahead.
Let's do it the right way here.
Just a motion, okay.
Motion to amend the city attorney's job description under minimum qualifications D, where it says 7 years experience as a municipal, county, or government law attorney in a supervisory or managerial position, exercising policy-making authority, that the numerical number 7 be changed to 5.
Second.
All in favor, discussion? No discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Ricky?
So, Mr. Mayor, the second part of that item is discussion and possible direction on our recruitment efforts. In your last meeting, you talked about making sure that we recruited on a broader recruitment medias. I brought you a list of what we were able to determine cost. Unfortunately, we don't have any spending authority or any current spending authority to do recruitment spending. We are going to have in our proposed budget, as we discussed, it's planned to have some spending money. We don't have the spending authority on this year's budget, so we run into a little bit of a dilemma. Do we delay advertising to July 1, or do we want to get out the gate immediately with advertisement for the city attorney? And if so, maybe we could entertain a motion to appropriate some emergency funds tonight, get it able for us to spend, and we can start spending money on that list. And I don't know if you want to discuss that list itself and what council's desires might be on that list on what you would like us to do.
Well, in this list itself, the discussion would be all night long.
Right.
So I don't think we need to go to those extremes.
I agree with you.
Yes. Jeanette, do we have a way to, that we could do it now, or or what is your recommendation? Can we wait another month?
So this would be probably out of the HR department, I'm assuming, that we would be.
Probably.
Right, so we could probably maybe allocate some of the contingency that was budgeted to that department so they can move forward with the recruitment process.
What's a ballpark figure?
It's 5,000 is what you're needing?
Do you think it's 5,000?
Ye- Yes, we could do that.
Are we gonna take a look at this list? I mean, there's some state, you know, Arizona
You know, I
Daily
think,
Sun and all that stuff.
honestly, I know we can look at the list, but honestly, I think we should let staff
Yeah, just
take from
allocate
this,
that amount of money.
allocate the amount of money, and then let them come up with the proper, locations or whatever you wanna call agencies or points of, a contact that we can use for advertisement. And I would think that would be the best thing. Otherwise, if we're looking at this list, how are we gonna pick?
Right, I,
It was
Yes.
more of just to give you an idea what's available.
I know, I understand. Go ahead, Councilman.
Mayor, I would just, prefer that, so that we don't get into the budget that we have right now, since we didn't appropriate this one, that we just wait till July the 1st, include it in our tentative budget, $5,000 for this spending, and then when we approve the tentative budget for July the 1st, or the actual budget, they have the appropriations to go ahead and do that starting July the 1st.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well,
Yeah, we
2
might as
weeks
well
is
do
not
that.
gonna kill us.
Yes.
We're okay with that.
Yeah, anyway, Mr. Massey has agreed to stay in a
Yeah,
position.
so we're
until we-
covered.
Yes. Well, let's do that then. Do we need a vote on that? or-
No, sir, that's good.
Okay.
Good, thank you. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Oh,
Okay, you can call
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just for one thing here, I just want to make sure that this minimum qualifications, it says right here, be member in good standing in the State Bar of Arizona. If you could, Dr. Felix, look into that, because I had an experience before on this council where the member was in good standing with the state bar, but had been cited for other, concerns by the state bar. So we need to know if there's any concerns with the state bar, even though you can be in good standing, but still have all of these concerns. We need to make sure that they understand if you've been cited, we want to know about it.
Will do.
Okay? That's all, Mayor. I just don't want to get in that position again.
All right, thank you, Councilman Verona. Okay, we'll move to reports. Number 1, report on Banker Avenue paving project. Mr. Guerra. Mr. Guerra. Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Felix? Mayor?
Go ahead.
Dr. Felix, again, please give this to us ahead of time. I can't read all of these things. I can't prepare myself. I can't study for this presentation. Please try to get these to us 5 days before your presentation.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Councilman.
Just a question before we go on. Is this the extension, this is the extension of Banker Street?
Correct, sir.
Is that a city street?
Yes, sir.
Sure is.
Yeah, yes, it is.
That's towards the warehouses, Councilman Hansel.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Go ahead, Council.
Okay.
Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. In April this year, you approved a contract with the state of the Arizona Department of Transportation to move forward with this project. This is a CMAQ project because it's an unpaved road, qualifies for the congestion mitigation air quality grant. I presented this as one option to use this kind of funding, but after ADA was in the process of sending us the invoice for the matching funds, and they asked me for additional $25,000 to be able to provide enough funding for the design portion of this road. Currently, the city of Nogales was contributing with about 17,000. And I will move you, if you can go to page, let's say 17, where I provided like a description of, page 18, description of my budget analysis of the challenges that we are facing with the matching funds required by the city. This is a federal money, a federal funding project that requires an environmental study that requires about $10,000 for the environmental study, no matter what the size of the project is. And then also they want, ADA wants to charge or used to charge $3,000 for per project. It doesn't matter the size of the project, same thing. So just there is $40,000 for the design or engineering. And in additional to, they said that 43,000 available for design was not enough, and the city needed to contribute 25,000 more. Yeah, more. And then they also asked me to pay for the soil report and for the survey of the project. At the end, I put together all the matching funds that the city will end up paying for this project, and will be about $50,000 for this project. And I computed how much it will cost the city to go and do the job, and will be about $35,000 to do that work in a faster way, and don't wait 2 years from now to see the project.
So it would cost us how much to do it?
35,000
35,000?
versus 50,000.
Grand would cost us 50?
50 just matching funds for the design.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We do it ourselves?
35,000.
It'd be 35,000?
Yeah.
That's another one of the benefits.
Yeah,
Benefit is we're going to be saving $20,000+.
correct.
Plus, we're not having to wait 2 years.
Exactly. And so this is the opportunity that we have now with talking with ADA. I asked them if we can reallocate this money, this funding, for the second project in the list, which is the pathway along Grand Avenue that connects to high school and also to the end of the city. So currently we have about 800,000 for that project, but for this banker project we have about 250,000. So if ADA said that it's very possible to reallocate that money for the other project to have more funding.
I think we'll get more benefit if we reallocate the money to where Apache Boulevard is, because there's more people that use that roadway than the banker road. So Mayor, I would
Yes.
favor the reallocation of the money and that we do the banker,
In-house.
this project, Banker Avenue paving project in-house.
Yes.
Would you recommend that, Dr. Felix?
Yes, I would.
Thank you.
I'll go with that.
So what we can do now, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, we need to send a letter to ADA saying that we are
Right.
not moving forward with the project.
Right, and so what we will do, because this was a JPA that was approved by City Council, when the numbers were looking very bad, Mr. Guerra came to me to let me know that he was moving toward not following through on that contract, but because it was approved by City Council, only City Council can say for us not to follow through on it. So I would like a vote from City Council giving direction to staff to communicate to ADOT that we are rescinding the JPA that was previously approved by council.
The JPA,
Yes.
And it's attached in the report.
motion to, Dr. Felix, do you recommend that?
Yes, I do.
Motion to accept the recommendation of Dr. Felix to notify the Arizona Department of Transportation that we will reject the JPA and ask for the funds to be reallocated. Is that correct, Mr. Massey?
That sounds like a great motion, Dr. Brown.
Second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Massey.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Reports, number 2, compensation study, Mr. Varona.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had just asked, we allocated $50,000. We were having some concerns among the employees about the compression that we're getting, especially with the salaries. We've been
the overall salaries, but especially within the police and the fire department. So we allocated this funds so that it could be, we could get a comprehensive study. There was a comprehensive compensation study done prior to my arrival on the council, but that was kind of filed away. So we had to do another one because since it was filed away, no action was taken, it became obsolete. So we did another one. And I just want to make sure what we want to do with it, what was done with it. I know that we're facing difficult times next year, but maybe during this next year, we could study that compensation study, set up time in the study session, just study it, and maybe we can start planning for our next budgetary for 2021 or 2020, 21, so that maybe we could just, instead of, we won't be able to afford to do the entire, all of the city employees, the entire city department, but maybe we could pick one or two departments so we can start implementing it in a phased manner. That's the only thing, Mayor, if you could please put it on in a future study session, so we can start studying it in depth and see what we can do to prepare ourselves for next April when we start, when you begin your budgetary hearings, so that we can go ahead and see what we can do to implement. I don't think we can do it all, but partial,
Yes.
and how we're gonna do it.
As discussion you and I had yesterday about that, I think that would be the best way of doing it, you know, because it's talking to the finance director, it's almost impossible, you know, and it has the, you know, the scales from 75 to 100%, and then you still look at it, and then it's still big numbers.
They are.
You know, so, but it's something that eventually we do have to do for our employees.
Yes.
To get them to that range, and I'm glad you guys, or the council at the time, decided to do this study, and now we have it, and it's something, it's a working document we'll use.
And if you could just some study sessions later,
Yes.
after we finish with this budget, we can start looking at for next year.
Yes, we'll do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody in the members of council want to say anything about that? No? All right, number 3, the reports, tennis court repairs, Mr. Bachelier. Mr. Hanesian, he has good news for you.
I hope so.
Go ahead,
Mayor,
Mr.
members of the
Go
council,
ahead, Mr. Bachelier.
I just wanted to give you a brief update on where we are as far as the tennis courts are concerned. Last time I was here, we had talked a little bit about our efforts to try and secure some type of matching funding from the United States Tennis Association, some grant opportunities that were available. We've yet to hear back from them. We are still, from what we understand, they feel or we feel that our projects are still very viable and that they will be funded or at least awarded. But because of the urgency to get these tennis courts done, we do have funding available in my budget, as I had mentioned previously, to go ahead and move on this. We decided to kind of give the USTA a little bit of time to potentially get back to us so that we would know that for certain that we were going to receive some type of a grant award. And I think we had talked about using May 31st as that cutoff date. And May 31st came and went. I did reach out to the USTA. The day before, they said it was still under review, but I did mention to them that we would at least move forward on the Madison Tennis Court project. And having received authorization from the city manager's office, we went ahead and did that. So a purchase order has been issued to the contractor, and he is scheduled to begin construction of those courts on June 17th, and he should be done prior to July 4th, weather permitting, if not sooner. I did receive notice back from the USTA. Even though we've issued a purchase order for the work to commence, the fact that construction won't start until the 17th, if there aren't any red flags in the review process on their end, she feels that there should be a reply back by then, and we may get notice that we will receive a $10,000 match for that.
Good news.
Okay.
Good news,
So,
Mr. Bachelier.
okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Mr. Hanesian.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're still in the, we're still gonna wait for the ANSA part once, yeah.
Yes.
So,
Great job. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Number 6, liquor license. Consideration possible action of liquor license 2019-4, approval of recommendation of the issuance of a special event liquor license application for Mr. William J. Godinez for Santa Cruz Cardinals for a fundraiser June 22nd, 2019. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Discussion?
Mayor,
Is he here? Mr. Godinez? No?
Well, here again, Mayor, my first concern is this is being presented from a resident of Rio Rico.
Yeah, the Cardinals are Rio Rico.
And then they're asking for a liquor license for us to approve, and then they want to use our facility. You know how I feel about the liquor license? And now, coming in people that are residents to use our parks, more liability for us, and this liquor license. I just can't support that. I don't want to be turning our fields into fundraisers with liquor on. I don't think that's the intent of what. Now, if he wants to have his liquor license and have it someplace else, fine. I don't see why we have to provide our property to have fundraisers for this, and then have a liquor license, which I think they can raise money in other ways for this youth activity. It's a youth activity,
Yes.
but I'm just not in accord of using our location of Fletcher Park for this activity. So I do not support this application.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
And I don't know if Marcel knows the planning use Fletcher Park.
Well, that probably, do you know where they're using, Marcel?
And I know less than 20 days after the tournament or the event, we have the regional tournament. The Parks and Rec really invests a lot of money having those deals.
Well,
Has it been done before, man?
Not, as long as I've been here in my previous administration, I don't remember having any team from Rio Rico come into Nogales or even apply for a liquor license. I can't remember. Have we had done before?
They did it last year.
They did?
At Fletcher Park?
Fletcher Park?
I don't remember the part, but I know they applied here to have it in one of the parks.
And have they
It's
sold
the little ones,
beer
it's the little
before?
football with the little
Yeah,
kids.
the football team.
Yeah,
It's a
the little
football
kids,
team.
But they've sold beer before.
Yeah, but this
In
is
our
a grown-ups.
facilities. Do for the 4th of July.
Yeah, and other teams that come in there.
Yeah.
No,
Not for that.
This one here was.
No, not for the, it's for kids. Yes, sir.
May I have some information on references?
Go to the podium. Thank you, officer.
It's for the youth football. There's only one team in the whole county, and it happens to be Santa Cruz Cardinals. It's called Santa Cruz Cardinals, but they actually have kids from Nogales and Rio Rico playing. So it's for the flag football, for the 9U and the 10U, which is tackle, and they play against Sahuarita, Tucson. Sometimes they will travel up to Phoenix. So what it's for, it's the coaches that put together, it's kind of like the softball tournament they did for Mr. Richuy Cordova.
Okay.
It's to raise money. So they're going to get teams. They're going to everybody pays so much money to pay to get a team play, and then they have a competition amongst the teams. The fundraising is for the kids, so they can buy equipment, have footballs, whatever they need. The only reason it's out of Rio Rico is because there's no football fields for the kids to practice. Right now they're practicing at Calabazas Middle School. I think they're making arrangements to probably practice at the Nogales High School. Nogales High School is going to allow them to practice there. So it's just something for the kids to do. And it's kids from both the city and...
During this fundraiser, will they be playing? or?
Well, the
or just-
teams will be playing. There'll be several teams playing each other. And I think that the fundraising thing is he wants to sell carne asada, have vendors just to raise money. And I think he applied for the liquor license.
Do you
for
know
that
where
reason.
they're going to be holding this event? But where?
At Fletcher Park, I believe.
Is it Fletcher?
Yes. I'm not sure who he spoke to or they're playing football. It's a flag football competition. That's what it is. It's for adults. So they'll put adult teams together to raise money for the kids. That's what the event's for.
Yeah.
So it is for the kids of Nogales and Rio
So
Rico.
it's a combination. of
Yeah,
both,
it's the only team in the whole county.
Do they do fundraisers like this every year to get
I
their
think they used to in
equipment?
the past. They got away from it and they're trying to get back to the fundraising. That's just a good way to raise. And then the kids see the adults playing and, watch the adults play and stuff like that. So
Do they have to sell beer though?
I don't know. That I don't know, but that's what the event is for. That's what I'm here for, to let you know what the event's for.
I hope, Mr. Mayor, that a police officer and a school resource officer is not promoting this kind of thing.
I'm not. I'm just informing you what it's for.
How you got into convincing yourself to come in to make that kind of certification.
Well, because my daughter plays football, that's why.
Well, but this is selling liquor.
Well, I'm not selling the liquor. I'm letting you know what the fundraiser's for.
You're saying you promote this for fundraising, is what you're telling me.
I'm not promoting it. I'm informing you of what it's for.
I'm not in accord with your position. Matter of fact,
Go ahead, take.
disappointed.
Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead,
Also,
Council.
Mr. Bachiller, did you know that they were gonna be doing at Fletcher Park? Have they scheduled it with you already or what?
I'm gonna say that it's run through the office, but I'm not familiar with exactly what's going on every day.
Who did?
It'll be through, if the event is scheduled, it will be, it's scheduled to be, through BB's office.
But it's gonna be for football, and they're gonna need it for the tournament coming up.
There might be some confusion.
There's some confusion here, again.
Okay, okay.
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's, I call for the question.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that the request for this application for a special event license be denied.
Denied?
Isn't there a motion?
We have a motion already on, don't we have a motion?
Yeah.
Yes, we
We made a motion.
Councilwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The motion and a
Roy?
second.
We're gonna have,
Yes.
Motion is,
To approve.
why don't we just leave it like that and see what vote it gets?
well, I can amend it, but let's go ahead, I'm ready to go.
Okay, right, okay, then I call for the question on this. Is to approve it or disapprove it, whatever you want, yay or nay?
Approve it, a no vote.
Is it yay, yes, yay or nay? Why don't we do a roll call? Yes, please.
Mayor,
Nay.
Mrs. Lopez? Yes. Mr. Rojas?
Aye.
Mr. Maldonado?
Nay.
Mr. Varona?
No,
Mr. Genesian?
No.
Mr. Lopez? And four.
Thank you very much. Didn't pass. Didn't pass. Okay, number 7, orders. Yes?
so we don't get into the position, the city manager, please make sure that when you present this to us, that if they're using facilities in the city, that it comes with recommendations, you guys put your stamp, and I thought when Mr. Bachiller had approved it, and it hasn't been, please make sure all the protocols are followed.
You know, and another thing, I think it'd be best that the person that's applying for it should be here too.
I agree,
Yeah.
that's why I asked.
Because it's good that that person is the one that speaks on behalf of it. Yeah, I think it'd be best.
Concur, Mayor.
Yes. Okay, number 7, orders, consideration possible action of order 2019-06-017. An order of the City Council, City of Nogales, authorizing the retirement of Nogales Police Department narcotics K9 tractor. It's not a tractor, así se llama el perro, ¿eh?
Mr. Mayor, members of the
Yes,
council,
Chief, go ahead.
today we come here and it's a bittersweet moment as we retire one of our canine officers. Actually, the dog is an officer. He's been with us for 6 years. At this point he's 8 years old. The service life of a police canine is between 7 and 8 years old. He's been having various unfortunately medical complications, and it's just not worth risking the life of the canine, or Tractor the canine, or Officer Armando Moreno, who is a handler. So that's the reason why I recommend that we retire canine Tractor tonight.
Chief, do they get a retirement pension?
They actually get a retirement plaque, and if I can just the opportunity to give you a little bit of background is on the bio of Tractor. Okay, Tractor's a Malinois Shepherd mix, born April of 2011. Tractor began his career with the Nogales Police Department Canine Unit in August of 2013 at the age of 2 years old. In December 2013, Tractor graduated from the Arizona Department of Corrections Canine Academy, which consisted of 320 hours. Tractor graduated as a dual-purpose canine, graduating in narcotic detection and patrol apprehension, certified by the National Canine Police Association. Tractor certified in Patrol 2, which is the highest certification provided by this association. Over the years, Tractor assisted numerous law enforcement agencies in southern Arizona to include the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office, HSI, HIDA, DEA, United States Border Patrol, Customs and Border Protection, and Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, also known as ATF. Tractor was also part of numerous dignitary security details. Tractor has been responsible for locating more than 30,000 pounds of narcotics, which include marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and meth. In addition, Tractor has located more than 250,000 in currency during his tenure. During his patrol duties, Tractor helped apprehend a violent home invasion suspect whom decided to run from the scene. Thanks to Tractor's fast speed, the suspect consequently gave up after he noticed Tractor was right behind him. Suspect repeatedly stated that he did not want to get bit by the dog. Do not let Tractor's big size and huge teeth fool you. He can be the sweetest dog. Tractor was part of numerous DARE graduations, school presentations, and outreach programs, not to mention assisting school resource officers in keeping schools drug-free. As Tractor's tour of duty comes to an end, he leaves with an impressive career, apprehending suspects, locating drugs, and serving his community. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to retire Tractor. With that said, Mr. Mayor, getting back to your question, Tractor gets a plaque. It reads, the Nogales Police Department recognizes Canine Tractor on his retirement for his years of devoted service to the Nogales Police Department, 2013 through 2019. And this is the plaque he's getting.
Great. Good job.
All blocks.
Tractor, the guy with the glasses. The guy with the glasses.
I'm not wearing any. It's this guy.
Se aceleró. Yeah, no.
Can I shake your hand? Thanks for your service.
Mijo, great job, eh? Thank you. Thank you, mijito. Good job. Councilman, you want to make a comment?
Yes, Mayor, thank you.
Yes.
First of all, congratulations to you and to Tractor for your years of service. And also, where's the chief? Is the chief on?
Yeah.
Oh, chief. Will Tractor be replaced? What are your plans there?
Yes, sir. He will probably be replaced probably within the next month. A new dog costs roughly about between $10,000 and $12,000. I'm in contact with George Silva, so we can work out something with the anti-racketeering fund So hopefully, either the funding is going to come out of his office or out of our office, but he will definitely be replaced.
Are you gonna be taking care of the other dog? Good, do that. You did a great job with that dog, and I hope you continue doing the same thing. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chief.
Do we take a vote on that?
Yes, we have,
There's a motion.
yes, a motion. Yeah,
But I didn't hear a vote.
yeah.
So call.
Okay, we're gonna take a vote on this. There was a motion on this? Okay. So, and the discussion's over, so all in favor signify by saying aye.
No motion.
No motion.
No motion was done?
Yeah, Councilman Lopez made the motion.
Yeah.
Who seconded it?
Yeah.
Who seconded it?
You
No, that was
seconded it,
the
Councilman?
day before.
Okay, all right, then, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, thank you very much. Members of the City Council, on orders 2, 3, and 4, I will be tabling all 3 of those for a future date, and just need a motion on that. Second, okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Okay, number 5, consideration possible action of order 2019-06-021. This is, do I have a motion on that? I'm not going to read it all.
So moved.
Number 5.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Discussion, John or Mr. Guerra, do you want to say anything on this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may, please,
And stay on the podium because you're going to have 5 and 6.
Okay. Yeah, so I will distribute to you a bigger, a big tabulation.
Yes.
Because the 1% was very clear. Sorry, because I was asked to provide a more weight than last year. I was recommended by City Clerk to provide another this bigger size.
No, you have another one in your packet, but this is more clear than the other one.
It's prettier. Está más grandote, Leti. I don't need one, I don't need one. Okay, okay, here it is. Here it is, I got it.
This is the first one is Magnap. It's a CDBG project. Mayor and Council in the past committed to use overway fees to pay for the difference between the water and paving project. All the money for the CDBG will be used strictly for the water replacement, and the money used for the paving and new guardrail and striping will be from overways.
Okay.
And the new paving will be from Crawford, where the project ends last year, all the way to Webster Avenue, except the portion that the city did a few years ago.
Yeah, between Curtis and Walnut.
Correct.
Okay. Curtis and Anthony.
Yes, but no striping will be done in that
Okay.
section.
Okay. Yeah, that one was paved already, uh-huh.
From Anthony to Western.
Will be brand new paving
Yeah.
with the striping.
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes. Go ahead,
we're
Councilman.
talking about, we're still getting money out of the override. My question is, I can't find it, but my question is, why is Siegel? Why do we have to pay Siegel? I think for this one, it's $35,000 or $45,000 for technical expertise, and then on the next one, we have to pay them $125,000. What technical expertise are they giving you?
Well, what they do, they have to, because both of them are federal money. The city needs to comply with the federal regulation. We have the option to look for a consultant, and we need to go through the request for qualifications, and it's a lengthy process to select a consultant. At the end, we might end up paying the same amount or more. And then the other thing is that what they will be doing is checking and being sure that they will be paying the workers, Davis Bacon salaries, federal wages. And then they will be randomly interviewing the workers, and they will be checking the payment stubs, every payment check, and they will be ensuring that we'll be in compliance with federal requirements. They also help us with the environmental study prior to the grant. So they have been
They basically oversee everything.
And Mr. Guerra, did they help you with the bid? Prepare the bid package?
yes, you're right. Yeah, they also help me with the specifications for the project. And then, so something to mention, we are talking right now at McNabb, but for the Perkins, most of the money, let's say 100% of the money will be paid by the feds, including the money for CIL. So the matching fund is just in case so we need additional items, not unforeseen items.
You mean the matching fund that we're providing for this project?
Yeah.
641,000?
No, that is a contingency amount.
The contingency within?
Yeah.
Okay. Mayor, the only comment I want to make is that here, our matching funds is $641,000, which is coming from overweight. Now, I hope that the staff is considering comments that the mayor made previously with the tomato suspension and a possible 5% tariff on imports coming in from Mexico, that this overweight fees is going to substantially dwindle down and decline. So I'm hoping that this 5% tariff or 10% up to 25% doesn't happen. Luckily, some good conservative Republicans in the Senate are against it. But we are using up this money, and we still have a commitment of 50% to the state of Arizona for the flyover construction. So we don't want to get down to where we're low, and then we have to worry if we can meet that 50% or not. Okay, so just be careful, because I think the mayor's comments are prudent, they're conservative, and I like to hear from the Trumpsters on this.
Don't, please. I think we should just vote on this one myself.
But Mayor,
Yes. You know, the thing about it that I'm glad, honestly, I'm glad that you've gotten this far, you know, especially with these two much needed projects, and especially the McNabb project.
So Mayor,
And we tapped into Seagull, which Seagull, you know, no, te dejo. He's talking about Seagull.
just like Trump, just talking for the sake of talking. Mayor, we've approved 3 good projects. We're going to approve 3 good projects for the community.
Yes.
And that's the idea, that we should be here showing the community, no matter what, we're trying to find the resources so we can have good projects that we're still going to come out providing quality service for our constituents.
Okay. Okay, so having a motion and having enough discussion, and Mr. Hanesian looking at me like getting the vote through, and he's about to say that he wants me to call for the question. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 6, consideration possible action of order 2019-06-0022. Mr. Guerra, would you please? Before that, do I have a motion? Thank you very much. Second, Mr. Hanesian. All right, basically it's the same thing,
The same thing, yes.
different project. Okay?
Yes. This is Colonias.
This is under the colonias also.
This is the one we did in combination with the county, right?
Yes.
Not
With the
this,
retention
but,
fund.
The county did a Colonias grant.
But they asked us to
Yes.
add this onto their project because they couldn't afford to do this.
Colonias is a competitive grant.
Right.
We competed for it, we applied for it, it's like $2 million. That only one jurisdiction or city along the border, I think it's something.
Because, yeah, certain sections of the city can only apply for colonias.
We won that grant
Yes.
before, and we applied for the Perkins project. You all approved us to apply for that grant, and we picked that. has to be La Colonia Street.
It's a federal grant, right?
It's a federal grant.
Yes.
And Siegel manages it. Siegel manages it, and there's a percentage on the total grant award that Siegel takes. So
Mr. Mayor, which is the one that the county had the colonial grant?
Correct.
And then they asked us to participate. Have we completed that one?
yes, that was a previous colonial grant, was applied for by, was awarded to the county. The county won the grant. They did a flood project out there to include some swales in the street. They were able to do the cement swales.
Catch
is that
basins,
right?
swales.
Swales in
Yeah.
the street, but they can't use it for paving. Like we can't use it for paving. So we did the paving, and then we did
So
some.
we only did the paving for one or two streets,
Yes, sir.
they did the rest.
And then we went and did some water service connection.
I got it now, Mayor.
Okay.
This is another good project to show that we're doing.
Yes. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Vice Mayor, no, let me take a 5 minute. Take a 5 minute break.
Sure.
Just 5 minutes.
Mayor?
Do you want to continue or?
No, I need some relief from the front street. So-
Just 5 minutes.
Oh, took some.
Six.
Seven?
Yes, sir.
Okay, consideration, oh, we were talking about that?
No,
No, we still, okay, sorry, okay. Yeah, right, we got construction and the pavement projects, all right.
Yeah, we finished.
Consideration possible action of order 2019-06-023. Second, okay. Discussion?
Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilman.
there was an item here that said at the end there, this draft, had to do with the lighting. Okay, I'm sorry, I have all of these wrong. 7.1. I just didn't understand right here where it says, like right here, it says here, we're responsible for SR 289 Ruby Road, Peña Blanca intersection. Why are we responsible way over here?
No.
And I don't know what Potrero T1 is. I don't know what the other, milepost 6. I get it for Western Avenue, West Street, the drive-in theater, but I don't want to go out to Ruby Road. We don't got no business
No.
over there on Ruby Road. Go for Potrero, mile 6, or the round turnoff. I don't know what that is, if somebody can explain it to me, because I'm not
Mr.
gonna.
Kissinger?
I want to go work with the Arizona Department of Transportation. If they want to put in the sidewalk and they want us to be responsible there for a period of 5 years, fine. They want us to be responsible in the city of Nogales limits, fine. I don't have any problem with it, but I'm not leaving the city of Nogales limits. The rest is fine. Just a point of clarification. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, are you talking about exhibit B, Dr. Barone? Exhibit B?
It's Exhibit B. Yes.
B, okay. Yeah, I think Exhibit B is showing all the lights on B19, but clearly we would not do any maintenance on anything outside of the city. So if you want to make the motion to accept the IGA, and I think it would be prudent to say exclusive of any items in Exhibit B that are outside the city limits, I think that will work for us, and I'll get that cleaned up for us.
Thank you, Mr. Guzman.
Yeah, wait a minute, John.
Sure.
It's basically the conversation we had with ADOT the time we were in Tucson.
Yes, sir.
When, remember I mentioned it to you that they don't build sidewalks anymore
Right. You did.
unless they built the road. And so one of the things they did tell us that when they do the flyover, and if there's any sidewalks that are built at the time, as soon as they're done, we're responsible to maintain the sidewalks. So there's certain things we're going to, but within the city limits.
Right.
That's
And
it.
it's for 5 years, Mayor, and
Yes.
either party can give a 30-day notice and we're out of it.
Yes,
For
because
the
you
next
know,
5 years.
yeah, because I requested, because I want to be doing. Remember, I also mentioned that I want our street department to do some sidewalks entering Grand Avenue from Meadow Hills, coming north, at least up to where Tractor Supply is at, where they did theirs. Remember, Tractor Supply, they did their own sidewalks,
Mr. Mayor?
as an improvement for the area.
I-
So
So I think if we read the contract, the state will, on the contract is page 2 of 7, page 2 of the actual contract. This is the state's responsibility, and under C of the state's responsibility, they're gonna do the maintenance of the roadway lighting that's enumerated in B. So B, even though it's out of the city, it's a moot point because they're gonna take care of it anyway. As shown in Exhibit B. So it's theirs anyway, Dr. Barone. We wouldn't do it. Yes, sir, that was a good catch, and I can have them clean it up anyway, but I think it's a moot point.
As long as we understand here that we're not responsible for anything outside. I agree, Mayor. We can be responsible work with the state, have a good partnership with the state. The director, Mr. Alkowski, has done wonderful things for the city of Nogales, okay? So I want to have a good partnership with him, but I just want to make sure that there's clarity.
Yeah.
I want to go beyond sticking our nose someplace.
So what I think,
We got our own problems.
what I think Exhibit B is the Nogales district, all the lights, that includes lights that are outside the city limits.
I think
Is that good? Yes, sir.
Yeah, and
But I still think that the way he said to go ahead and say that we're not responsible for anything outside the city.
yes,
I'd still like to have that,
yes. Because, you know, there's going to be times, because they did mention that they're going to be using trustees to do the cleaning. That's what they told us. But then Mr. Kissinger in the meeting told them, you know, you haven't been there in a while. And supposedly they're supposed to send them quarterly, John, is it?
Correct.
Yeah. So there'll be times that we might have to do it ourselves because we need to make sure that the city looks clean. You know, have our staff do it. We're going to have to do that ourselves. But we have to be on top of it. We have to be on top of it. And John, you know, spoke well when we were in Tucson, and he was clear, you know, telling them what we needed to do. Because there's, you know, we were also asking for turn signals. We have 2 turn signals missing in Nogales, Western Avenue and Meadow Hills southbound. Okay, and we discussed that with them. You know, we help out one way, they help out another way, so we can get these things completed. So, you know,
and us having
it's good to have an
partnership
IGA.
and partnerships.
Yes.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Okay. So do we vote on
There
this?
was a motion to amend by Councilman.
Amend?
Yeah. To include express limitation, nothing outside the city limits.
Okay, this limits. Okay.
Is there-
Second is motion to amend.
All right.
Now we have to have a motion on that, or a vote on that
Vote
motion.
On the amended motion.
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Everybody? Okay.
So now we go back to the underlying motion
Okay.
as now amended.
now-
We have to have another vote.
Correct. The main motion.
Okay, go ahead. Who makes a motion?
Aye.
Aye. You make the motion?
No, it's already made.
The amended one. You want to go back to, you would have to
Yeah,
say
the main
a
motion.
different language, same one? Okay, all right. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
Okay, 7.
Good.
All right.
Good.
Stop confusing me, Mr. Massey.
It's these amendments. He's doing amendments.
Okay, number 8, consideration possible action of 2019-06-024. It's also, okay.
Second.
Okay, do we have discussion on this?
Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilman.
the only thing is, Mr. Bachelier, on this agreement here, he's going to have to learn, and maybe Mr. Massey, you can help him, because he's going to have to be like an attorney, feel like an attorney. It's going to be, he's not used to that, because now every time you schedule the meals, you'll probably say, Director of Parks and Recreation, your hourly rate, how much you spent, 0.70 of an hour on it, and this is what that's equal to building. Mowing the lawn, 2 hours at their hourly rate. So he's gonna, this contract isn't like we get $10,000. No, you're gonna have to bill, and that's gonna take you some time, Marcel. But my point here is, it's a little bit more complicated, but I think, Marcel, you should also charge an administrative fee for all of his billing and all of that. I understand you can go buy whatever you want, new lawnmowers and all of that, and they'll reimburse us for that. But at the end of the contract, we have to return all of that equipment to the county. The only thing I want to turn out is that Marcel's going to have to be like Mr. Massey, an attorney. That's how he has to bill the county. That's what the county is asking, which is going to be a lot of time on your part, Marcel. So bill them for your time bill too. Or you're going to have to train a secretary, because that's how they're asking you to bill them. So many, you can bill them every 15 minutes. So if you just spend 10 minutes doing something. And the other thing is, they're only providing one storage shed at one of the parks. You should tell them they should provide on that contract 2 sheds. Because then otherwise you gotta go to one shed, then you're gonna have to go back to the other park to put things away. And that's more time I just think that you'd be more efficient if you ask them for 2 shifts. But I just wanted to point that out myself because it's not easy to bill like an attorney. The attorneys are used to it, but maybe Mr. Massey, you can teach them how to do that.
Do we really want to get in something like this?
Well, that's what was negotiated, Mayor. I don't know. I don't want to get into the, I would prefer, they're paying us a monthly fee. That's it.
And then-
Now, that includes the monthly fee, includes the use of our equipment. If we buy equipment, then that's our equipment. We're charging them for whatever, and that stays with us. Because Marshall doesn't realize this is gonna take a lot of his time to do that.
What about the employees?
No, he has to put the same thing for the employees. Every time they go out there, what the employee is, what the hourly rate is, how much time equals what. That's
So,
what that contract
Marcel, could you please come to the podium? I need to talk to you. This is serious.
This is just to me, I can see Mr. Massey, but I can't see. I'd rather just go with a monthly rate and that's it.
Mr. Bachelier, so are you gonna hire more people?
Okay, so built into the budget that was proposed and discussed with Santa Cruz County is to hire 1 full-time employee and then additional budget for management, oversight, admin fees, whatever that is. So that was all built into. Now, how the logistics of that part of it was going to be broken out, I'm not real sure. I know, talking to Jeanette a little bit, how we're going to try to keep track of that is to kind of separate the budget with Santa Cruz County completely, and however we determine to charge those fees, if you will, we'll break those out over the year and bill them at a 1/12 per month rate. And then at the end of the year, if we feel like we were shorted or we were lopsided, the county has agreed that we would take care of that at that time or going into that next year.
So did the county propose this deal, this IGA, this agreement? Who proposed this agreement?
Go ahead, John.
The idea to do this.
To do this.
If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was brought up in a retreat. So we were tasked to see about partnering with the county to provide better recreation for the.
Oh, you had a retreat joint with the county?
No, our
No,
retreat.
This was our summer retreat.
Oh, summer retreat.
Right, it was our summer retreat.
I believe that's where it originated from, so we initiated the contact with the county because we brought it up to at the retreat that the county had been looking for us previously to manage some of their ball fields because they saw the way that we manage our ball fields and they wanted to duplicate it in the county.
And you can do all that with 1 more employee?
Well, yes, no. So part of the other fees, the oversight fees, will probably be one of my supervisors. That will probably be with these people initially as we get things going, and they need a lot of work. I'll tell you that much. And once we get the main bulk of the work out of the way, then it's just a matter of just maintenance. Stay on top of it. Do what you got to do. Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, when the thought originally came up, 2 people from the cemetery were transferred to Parks and Recreation to assist with this IGA. The only problem is the IGA started to lag behind the transfer, where they said that they were going to go ahead and move it up, and they didn't. So, there's 2 people. I agree with you. I think it'd be hard for just 1 person for the first year to get those in
No, it
order.
won't be 1 person.
It won't be 1 person.
It's gonna be
Marcel,
at least
you-
2 people. So
So you're not going to abandon any of our parks in town because of that?
no,
You're not?
no.
In other words, you're still gonna do everything here in Nogales, let's take care of the county. With the same people, basically, 1 person with maybe 2 people more. And then,
Well, let me just say one thing. I'm not putting you down or anything, Marcel, but you can't even water this playground back here. And you told me, you and John told me that it turns on. I'm sorry, it doesn't turn on. It doesn't turn on in the morning, it doesn't turn on at night, it doesn't turn on anywhere. So I was I was thinking of having you and John go with me Friday morning, and we're gonna go over there and let's find the spigot or find the valve that turns it on, and let's see if it really turns on, because it doesn't turn on, and it's dirt, it's not grass. So we have our kids here playing on dirt, and this is just a playground, not a park. Over there, it's gonna be a field, huh?
Just a field.
A field.
They will play baseball only. That's
So,
it.
so you're not gonna take care of where they have picnics and
No.
just the field?
Just the fields.
Just the fields.
Do we have the same thing here? You said they're only gonna play baseball. And here we're talking about Fletcher Park there that could have been, was it given to the people there in Rio Rico to use as the football field?
Not to my knowledge, Councilman.
Well, is there any way to find out for sure?
Yes.
Well, let's find out for sure, because if they did, we're going against even your regulation as to what is gonna be happening in the county.
No, I'm, like I mentioned, I'm not aware that that event was gonna happen at Fletcher Park.
Do you think they just put that down because they figured that you were an easy hit?
Yeah, we're up,
Or what?
Councilman, we're off topic on that. Yes, you know, Marcel, you know, I know you guys talked about this, last year in a retreat or anything, but I'm sorry, I don't agree with this. I myself don't agree. I think, we have our parks here, we need to take care of them, and even if you got two people, I don't know if we can afford, not right now with our budget, to give you two people for it, you know. I don't know if, and I'm afraid that you get two people or one person, and then one day you have 4 or 5 of our guys over there trying to get that thing squared away, and some of our parks here in the city. So, you know, I don't know, I'm a little concerned with this agreement, so, but that's all right, just go. Yes, go ahead.
Basically, Marcel, were they gonna support you with any power on the park, or?
No.
Even though you?
No.
Oversee? But, you know, I know through Nogales Little League, since last year we had to absorb all the kids and all the boundaries of Rio Rico due to lack of adults helping out. I know, and we don't have also the parks in Nogales to support all the Rio Rico kids, more teams and all that.
Yeah, but that's the county's problem. That's not the city's problem.
Now it's just Nogales Little League problem.
Yeah, well, that's.
And we, you know, so these parks were.
paying for that.
Yeah, well, they are paying for it, well, we going over them, they're paying for it, we're not paying for it. They're paying for it.
They're not paying for their kids to be here using our field.
No, but that's a little
Yeah.
different. But
This
us
is-
going over there, they're paying us for it. And we can even charge, if we want to, this is the total for the month, and we're adding on a 25% administrative fee to it. They have to pay for everything.
Are they in agreement to that?
Well, they're in agreement according to this contract. We have to turn in the bill to them, and they have to pay us immediately. But a reasonable time, not immediate, a reasonable time. I just wanted to bring out the thing of what you're gonna have to do to get them that bill. But I think, Mayor, really, that giving this a try for at least even 6 months to see what happens, and having a report come back, and let's see, maybe this will be a door for us to start a partnership with them or something.
But I mean, this agreement, how long is it, Mr. Messi?
1 year.
1 year contract on the agreement?
I think they can terminate it, so after 60 days, given written notice.
Oh, okay, but is there a length, is there a duration?
60 days after what, just 60 days?
No, so if there's a notice that.
Yeah, it's continuous, but 60 days written notice, you can get out.
So if they don't like what we're charging them ourselves on these fees, then they can give us 60 days notice, we'll just put it on.
Oh, they give us, we don't
We
give
can't
them?
either way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't do
okay.
it.
Right, if they think we're overcharging, they can back out.
And if we think that they're not taking care of our parks here in the city, can we get out of that too?
You can put it on the agenda and put it, notice of termination.
Because I'm concerned about the parks here in the city. You know, the county decided to build that park over there, that Damon Park. You know, they should have they should say, you know what, we're building a recreational complex, that's what they call it. You know, you're building something, you gotta invest money into it. That's, you know, it's not, you know, are we gonna have our kids going over there playing?
No.
Marcel, do you know that?
Probably.
I doubt it, Marcel.
Well, let's
But-
give it a chance here and see. We got
It's
the
right.
library with them, we got the dog pound with them. Let's just give it a chance and see. If not, doesn't work out, Marcel and Dr. Perez can come back and tell us, or if we have a concern, we can put it on the agenda. And let's just give it a shot and see what we do.
If we do, it's gotta be very, very strict. We're not gonna lose money just to
No.
make the county happy, to make
No.
the kids out there.
I agree.
That's not our, that shouldn't
That's
be our
not our
problem,
deal.
right? If we're gonna spend any money at all, it should be either billed immediately towards them, or advise them that it's gonna cost them another $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. As long as we don't spend any money on the employees, I mean, they gotta make sure they're paying withholding, the this, the that, insurance, everything.
Yeah. That's why they gotta break it down, but we're not in the process of to lose any money. They raised the fees, what, $50,000 on the dog pound? They just send us the bill, we had to write the check. So
You
it's
know,
the same thing here.
I continuously get phone calls, Councilman Varona, from people that we can't even put swings on the parks here. Okay, we can't even do nothing here. And you want me to vote on something like this? I'm sorry. If you guys want to vote for it, go ahead, but I disagree with it. I call for the question.
Aye.
Let's make it a roll call vote, please. Ruthie.
Yes. Mayor,
Nay.
Mrs. Lopez,
No.
Mr. Rojas,
Aye.
Maldonado,
Aye.
Mr. Varela,
Aye.
Mr. Genesian,
No.
Mr. Bojorquez. 4-3.
Thank you very much. Number 9, consideration and possible action of order 2019-06-025.
Second?
Discussion?
Mrs. Canales, that's just common stuff that all the cities are doing, right? No problem, Mayor.
Yes.
Everybody's doing it.
Yes, I know. Okay. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? You guys have it. Number 10, consideration possible action of order 2019-06-026.
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Discussion?
Mayor, I didn't realize we were paying them $70,000 a month, but I am concerned about continuing here, even though I realize here that on the staff background that says that they went out for statements of qualification and only got the person that's providing the service now as the only qualified person. Okay? But I do have concerns of the pictures that you showed me there and how that is being handled. Now they're saying that they're gonna build something new and they're gonna put in some fencing. Well, I think that this came up just because of your concern and calling it to our attention, and it doesn't look like a transfer station, it looks like a
Landfill.
Landfill.
landfill, dump station. So I do have concerns about this, Mayor. I have concerns that they were the only ones who qualify for the statement of qualifications, that we're paying them $70,000 a month, that the tipping fee is only good for 2 years, and after that, they're probably gonna raise it.
According to the CPR.
Yes. But, and it's just a concern, at least if they would have been providing good service and everything, and then when you call that to my attention there, I just have a great concern. And then when I found out it's $70,000 a month and they can't keep that place clean, and that's all they're responsible for, I just have a concern. I don't know. If I vote no against this, Mr. Massey, what happens when this expires?
Well, right now, the current service agreement does set to expire at the end of this month. So,
Why are they coming so late?
Yes, so we would be in a bad
We
situation.
would have to take it over ourselves.
That, or we would negotiate a short-term extension at whatever rate we could negotiate, which would not include the investment in the improvements to the transfer station, probably.
Is there a date for completion of these investments here, or lower? That if they just have a drawing, I don't remember seeing a cost here or a date of completion. I'd like to see a cost and a date of completion.
Well-
And the approval of this by the city, our city engineer, before they do any work.
It is, what the amendment says is new contractor investment. Upon execution of this First Amendment amended agreement, contractor shall commence. So upon approval, contractor shall commence to construct improvements to this transfer station in accordance with Exhibit 1. And there's been a lot of discussion of what Exhibit 1 means, so I think there is clear understanding what that was. And diligently progress with all said improvements until completed to the satisfaction of the city, so the city engineer should be involved with that approval, which shall not be unreasonably withheld. So we can't just, say no, because we want more, but it has to be consistent with Exhibit 1, and it has to be built to city standards, to our satisfaction.
And what if the city engineer, I'm just gonna make the assumption that the city engineer has not approved these. What if something comes up and says, no, you have to do it this way? We don't like this, we want a higher standard in this building. Can he do that?
Well, it has to be consistent with Exhibit 1. In my understanding, there is a clear understanding what Exhibit, so no, we can't just change it
All right,
after.
Right now, we can change it. Today,
Right,
now.
this has not been approved, so
So
yes.
then I would like to see, Mayor, there, that all plans to proceed and during construction must have the approval of the city engineer, and it is at the city's sole discretion of what is to be done. We have the sole discretion, not them, we do.
Okay, so that is a substantive change to the contract, and so the representative is here. We don't know if he would accept that change.
We can go from there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to address the situation of the video that I saw from Mr. Dillon. It did catch me off guard a little bit, but we did immediately respond. I have pictures at the end of the day where all the trash was down to less than a load on the floor, which my staff is unaware that that's the way it's supposed to look at the end of the day. So I think we always, whenever there's a concern of the staff or the council member, will address it immediately. And I do apologize for the situation.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor.
Are you there every day?
No, sir.
Who runs it? Who runs it for you?
Right now, Jesus runs it. Herrera.
Jesus?
Jesus.
Well, it wasn't just one time, sir. I'm sorry. It's been like that for the past month and a half. That I know residents calling me. So it wasn't one time. Okay? And it's a transfer station. It's not a landfill.
I understand,
The
sir.
first day I was called by a resident that went to dump over there was because that resident couldn't get close to it to dump her trash. So she called me, she said, Mayor, could you see this? And she sent me some pictures, and I couldn't believe it. I left my house to go look at it myself. I took the pictures, and I gave them to John. All right? That day was very windy. There was trash flying all the way in the back of the property where Escalada has property over there. All over the place there was trash because the pile was as high as this ceiling and and bigger than this room. Okay, that's not one load.
Understood, sir.
That was a week's worth of loads. So what was happening? Why wasn't it being taken away? Those are my concerns. So if you're not going to be there, you better hire somebody that looks at it and keeps it clean. Because if I'm going to approve and I'm going to vote for this contract, I'm going to be visiting that place more often myself without having one of my constituents call me.
I understand,
Because
Mr.
when I
Mayor.
was Public Works Director, and if I would have still been there, that would have been happening because I'd be looking out the window. But so happens that We don't have anybody there that looks out the window, I guess. Okay? So, those are my concerns.
And Mr. Mayor, this is an extension of the current contract, so under the terms of our current contract, there are performance requirements. So if they fail to meet the performance requirements, the city can impose administrative sanctions. We haven't done so, but, you know, maybe that's something that, the sanitation department needs to look at. We
Well,
can,
they,
basically, it's like fining them for not doing
I'm
their
sorry,
job,
Mr.
for
Massey,
being-
the sanitation department wasn't even looking at it. I brought it to their attention. So I'm also very disappointed at our sanitation department. I already brought it to their attention, I brought it to the city manager's attention, brought it to Mr. Dillon's attention, and to Mr. Chance's attention because of what was happening, but it's not one time. It's been going on, and the only reason I know it was at least a month and a half, is because that's when the first time they called me. I don't know if this was happening previously, but we can't have that. I mean, come on.
Understood.
When we had the hopper, when our trucks put it in the hopper for our rear loaders, there was never trash there. They would dump it in the hopper, compact it into the truck, and the trucks would go to the landfill. We never had trash all over the place. But now you have that, you load it on the top, and you have trash all over the place. So, you know.
Mr. Mayor, if I could address that, your compactor will not handle the volume that you have as far as trash coming in on a
Well,
daily
they did at
basis.
one time, and
It
we
did,
haven't
sure.
grown anymore.
They're generating more trash apparently.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this week we were behind the 8 ball with it being off on a Monday, or not this week, last week when Mr. Dillon sent me the email, and so on that Tuesday I was here personally on the excavator loading the trailer, and when I left, it wasn't in bad shape. It was more volume than normally because we had the trash from Monday and Tuesday all coming in on Tuesday. Your trucks didn't run on Monday because of the holiday. So immediately we were 2 days behind with that amount of trash. So it takes us usually a couple days to catch up. But we are, and part of the situation that we proposed to the city a year ago was that we would do these improvements to help to maintain this, mainly getting rid of that building on the front corner, which is, it has some Christmas decorations in it or something. We can make it at our expense a lot better transfer station to better serve the long-term needs of the city. Because right now, with the situation with Santa Cruz, and we worked with, or have spoken with the county considerably about their situation, and they're talking about raising our rates. It gives you a chance to lock in a good rate to where even if I now have to haul it to Marana or Tucson, at least you have now a disposal site
Oh, so
locked.
you're not hauling it to Marana, you're hauling it to the county?
Yes.
That's
And
what
have
we
been,
used to do.
have been for the last 2 or 3 years.
Because you were gonna give us, oh
No.
boy. When did that change? John, when did that change? No, I need to hear this, because the reason we hired them is because the county was charging us more.
Right, and we offered an opportunity to move it somewhere else at less and then negotiate with the county to give you a lesser rate, or give us
Give you a
better
lesser rate.
Sure.
So they gave you a lesser rate, not us? Oh, boy. That's good to know.
Certain county manager was immovable on the tipping rates at
Oh,
the
okay.
time. And then then we elected him.
Okay, so if you make the transfer station bigger, why are you making it bigger? So you can have more trash there? Sitting
No, that
on
we
the-
can
on
have
the-
commercial lanes on the side that are totally dedicated only to city trucks. So the city trucks are never waiting now. When you have more and more people that are coming in, constituents that come in and use the facilities. So we can segregate them and we can maintain it a lot easier.
Don't you have a special dumpster for constituents to go drop them so they don't have to go into that trash?
We do for the people who have 1 or 2 bags, they use the
Yeah.
top one, yes. Yeah, they were using it today when I was there.
You know, you know, I don't want to lose the contract because you know, I can't do that. We're not in a position. We would have brought this 6 months ago. I would be thinking very seriously. But my concerns right now is that if you do what you say you are going to do and keep it clean and do everything else, and you know,
Mr. Mayor and Council, I'll give you my personal guarantee of one of the 3 owners of the company that you will see major improvements if the city gives us the ability to improve it. One is getting with the city manager or whoever it is, I haven't been able to find out, the ability to, at our cost, demo that building, concrete that over, build new walls, put new fences, or not net fences, but netting around the entire thing, around the entire facility, other than where the excavator and the truck is, because you can't. But we will give you a lot better product and guarantee you a place to dispose of trash for the next 5 years at very little or no. In fact, a part of the deal is we raised the fuel surcharge to a $4 threshold instead of a $3 threshold. So now you won't be getting a fuel surcharge. That's guaranteed for the first 2 years. Disposal rate is the same as it was this year for 2 more years. And nowhere out there is any landfill saying we're keeping our rates the same rate coming forward. Everybody's increasing us.
I understand. I know the business. Okay.
Absolutely. I understand, sir.
I know that. But you know, this is the way, this is what I think, John. Mr. Kissinger. Sir. Levántate, por favor. Yeah. You're too relaxed, John. And then, he's a big guy, so you're hiding behind him. No, John, what I recommend is maybe you and the city manager, or is it Mr. Dillon isn't here, okay. Do an inventory in that building. See what you got in there. See if you can fit it in the warehouse. If it's only Christmas lights and stuff like that, why not do an inventory and see if they can make the move on the construction? And Mr. Guerra, you keep an eye on that?
That was a plan to do that.
Yeah.
Get that stuff out.
Yeah. Yeah, so that give them an opportunity.
Either way, Mr. Mayor, that building, even if it has Christmas, it's not in a good place to have it next to the transfer station.
Yes.
So regardless of what he's
I know
what
which
he's
building
doing,
it is. It was there before they built the transfer station. It's been
and
there for a
it
long
looks
time.
pretty bad.
I know.
So, and he's going to knock it down and dispose of it at no cost to us. I mean, either way, we should get rid of that building.
Yeah.
Put a Connex or put it in the warehouse or do something.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll get it done.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, just 2 things on this little project that you're going to do, if you want to start. I still think that the final approval of this should be with our city engineer, okay? Because we get into these things, and then they say they're going to do something, and they do it, but they do it with sub-material, bad material, just to put up something, and then we get stuck correcting all the problems. So there should be something in the contract, and I hope you can confirm with it, that this project here is subject to the final approval of the city manager. And the other thing, Mr. Massey, Mr. Mayor, is that they notify us before 6 months before the expiration of the contract of their intent to seek another contract, so that we can have more of a say than just 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, and another thing for the managers, we've been discussing possibly, since we no longer have recycling, we've been discussing possibly 1 day a week, 2 containers, the blue and the gray, to be picked up for 1 day. So that's coming down the road. We're not going to make a decision on that right now, but I don't know if that'll help anything on your side. I don't think so, because you probably have the same amount of trash. It doesn't matter.
Unfortunately, and again, we still have the recycling bin there. Today on the news at Tucson, they talked about the $3 million deficit for recycling. That $3 million is going to cost them this year, and going to recycling every other week instead of every week. That's
Tucson
something.
is doing that?
Yeah, and that's something that you can save some.
Their deficit is
money.
$3 million?
Recycling program will cost them $3 million this year.
And a lot of cities here, they've abandoned the recycling.
You think it'll ever come back?
I do. I'm optimistic. I hate to think
But
that.
you can't be storing and waiting for the day.
And exactly, and if you go up to the transfer facility now, there's, what was there? I think there was 20 bales that I brought down from Tucson when council member asked me to bring it down, and we tried to reach out to California Recycling, could not get return calls. Then said, yes, we're interested. We worked with the city to deliver it to them. I offered it to them in bales, and they said they couldn't take it. And now they're saying they can't take any more, period. So
it's not. Go ahead.
I still think the plastic is the plastic still being recycled, or what?
Unfortunately not. There's no market. We've been in talk. In fact, I got a phone call from a gal at NPR in New York who wants to come do a study or a story on recycling in Arizona, and she wanted to visit here. I said, well, I'd have to get clearance, obviously, from the city on that stuff, but she was going to Community, who is now the only source to deliver recyclables to, and they've told us that they will not take our stuff because they are in a contractual agreement with the city of Tucson that they have to take their stuff, but now they can't get rid of it. It's bulging out of the building, and the majority, not the majority, basically all of it is going to the landfill. Because we're on the other end of that as well. We have a relationship with Waste Management and know the volume that goes into the landfill. And it's to me, just as much as it is to you, and I understand how passionate some of the council members are about recycling.
You know, it's a shame
sad.
that we're so close to the border that there wouldn't be some mechanism in Mexico for recycling or for them to do it, you know,
We've been approached.
efficiently like other countries were doing it, like China was doing and stuff, but I don't think there's anything even over there that you can do.
We've been approached, but nobody can provide anything, any solid. Again, we don't even want anything for it, even though it cost us to pull it from the waste stream. We can't get rid of it. I would love to do it if I could, but there's no outlet, none.
It's tough. Well, is there anything else? Yes, go ahead.
Councilman Barone, if I could address one thing, on the improvements that we proposed, it will all go obviously through any permitting cycle but they are small improvements. It's a concrete pour of, I don't know, probably 20 cubic yards of concrete in the front and on the sides. The other is existing net, but we'll put new poles up. We'll bring the net in over the top. Stuff that is not a huge project. The other thing that we're waiting to see if we'll have a contract on is the investment in another truck and another trailer, which will then again help make sure that I get the stuff off the floor, and so it doesn't become a vector or a problem.
Yeah, it's understandable. Believe me, I know it's understandable if there's a load left at night, because you might
Sure.
have trucks coming in late. That's
Exactly.
understandable, and it's hard for you to make a transfer with a half a load to wherever you're going, and then the landfill will close on you too.
Exactly.
So I
They're not our
understand
friend.
that.
They're not our best friend.
Yeah, I understand, but I don't want to see a room this size to the ceiling full of trash. That's what I don't want to see over there.
Understood. And
Left
Mr.
like
Mayor,
that
and
for
any
days in, days out.
anybody calls us, they have my direct phone number. I will personally be involved in making sure that staff from Tucson or whoever comes and address the problem immediately. And I think if you talk to staff, we've always been that way, and we'll continue to do it better, and we will do a better job if we have a better facility.
Thank you very much for coming back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Mr.
Yes.
Massey, the concern that I brought about the 6 months notice, do you need an amended motion, or you're just gonna put it in?
I think we can put that in, it's more like direction to staff to make sure, it's direction to staff to bring the next contract
Yeah.
back before the city council 6 months before expiration.
The problem with that, Mr. Massey, is faces change.
Faces to change,
And
yes.
we forget. That's why I wanted it right.
Okay, so then I'd say amend the motion to say that, you know, we all have notice of the termination. It's written right here. It's for 5 years, so we should be on top of that, staff. But yeah, that there be 6 months notice be provided to staff or to council.
To mayor and council.
Okay, go for it.
So that's my amended motion.
Okay, is there a second on that? All right.
And Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Dr. Felix, you'll make sure that you work then with Mr. Guerra and Tucson Recycling on this project to make sure everything's done in order. Yes, correct.
Motion on the motion, or a vote on the motion to amend.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, now.
Now
a
the main
vote.
motion, which is to approve
Yeah.
the amendment
Contract,
one.
okay. Okay, all in favor signify.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, please.
Roll call? Okay, roll call vote, Betty?
Mayor
We'll start with Hector.
Whitaker.
Bojorquez.
Okay. Mr. Bojorquez.
Aye.
Mr. Henderson.
Aye.
Mr. Barona.
Aye.
Mr. Maldonado.
Aye.
Mr. Rojas.
Aye.
Mrs. Lopez. Aye. Mayor Medina.
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, members of the city council. Number 11, what time is it, 12 o'clock?
Oh, it's 8 o'clock.
Okay. Consideration possible action of order 2019-06-027.
Second.
Second, discussion.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilman.
I wholeheartedly support this order. They do, Boys and Girls Club is a wonderful addition to our community. Mr. Massey, the only concern that I have as I read through the lease is that it would be nice if we could make it kind of consistent with the other leases that we've had, where the city is responsible for the outside and the nonprofit is responsible for the inside. Could you correct that, or do you need a motion to amend?
I would probably prefer to bring that back to you in writing. Maybe we can do that at a future meeting. Because the request, which this order encompasses, was just for an extension. So we didn't do any negotiations of any of the substantive
Could you
provisions.
get together as Sparta and go over the
We
whole thing
certainly can
and
do that.
everything, and then bring it back maybe in July or so?
Yes, we
Is that
certainly
okay,
can do
Mayor?
that.
Yeah, were you reading my notes?
That's where I get all my info.
Okay.
But I'm not a trumpeter.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Members of the city council, do we have any more discussion? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I thought he was gonna bring back the contract.
Yeah.
No,
No, but at a future agenda.
future
No,
agenda.
we're voting right now on it.
No,
Right, we're
we're
just
ready-
voting on the extension.
The extension.
Just on the extension.
Just on the extension, that's all that's before you
And then
today.
come back with a-
Right, and
You
so,
understand?
See,
right.
You got excited there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
right. One thing at a time.
Okay, now I got it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Okay, number 8, mayor and council's report on current events. Do we have any current events, Councilman?
The commander left, but I did attend a beautiful Memorial Day ceremony at the cemetery. Very nice. A lot of council people there. The mayor gave a very commander. Hold on, Commander, and the mayor gave a very eloquent talk. The concern that I do have, and not so much that I think we appropriate about $2,500. Look at probably going up to $3,000. It's a tribute to our veterans who sacrificed a lot, and we're very fortunate because we have 3 veterans on this council. The only concern that I do have is there has to be a mechanism that if we're going to do that, I would prefer that the catering be done by a restaurant that has a city license and everything here. Because I want, right now, more so that we give our business, our tax dollars here to local people who have a city business license. So that's the one thing on that. Dr. Felix, if you can write them a letter that we want to continue to sponsor, we're considering for a tentative budget a $500 increase, but their caterer, at their discretion, must have a city license to do business within the city. That's the only requirement.
Okay. And anybody else has anything to report?
Well, I just want to first thank all the staff, all the members and all the people from the city that helped through the Fiestas de Mayo event. It was a great event. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be here, but they all did a perfect, I mean, not only perfect, a great job. Thank you.
You did a
Thank
good
you
job
all.
delegating.
That's right. Well, that's the most important thing. Thank you all.
It was a very good activity, very nice activity. Mr. Bojorquez took the lead there, and he did a good job that night. I was there for a couple of hours. My wife and I, we had a wonderful time there. The food was good. Councilman Rojas almost fell on his face off of the stage, but he was able to hold his balance.
Yeah.
You may. But everything was very well. I think the only suggestion that I would have is there needs to be in the street there more places to sit down and enjoy the food. There's not enough places to sit down, listen to the music, and enjoy the food. That's the only
only suggestion. Anything else? None? Okay, here comes mine, 3 pages full. Nah, I'm just joking. I just want to say that Councilman Rojas and I attended the National Heritage Celebration at the Canoa Ranch. It was a great event, very informative, and great opportunities for our region here, from Marana all the way to the border. So we're going to be looking into that, and I also talked to Congressman Grijalva at the time when we were there, and he recommends that maybe we should have a seat on the board for that for the Heritage Foundation. And then I also attended Beyond the Wall, the event they had. I was brief because I was so busy that day doing other things. Not everything was for the city, but personal things. But it's a good festival, something good that's done between both Nogales, and artists showed up, and they had the puppets and everything, so it was great. And number 3, I am very happy to announce that I did a presentation at Seagull on May 17th, and the discussion, the dialogue, the debate was very, very good. Managed to convince the 4 counties in Seagull, Graham, Greenlee, Cochise, and Santa Cruz County to pass a resolution on the concertina wire. So more support for us on that. I don't know how far we're going to have to go with this, but I don't think we should ever let go. We should all continue doing that. Okay. I attended the congressional delegation in Phoenix on May the 28th. Congressman Grijalva was there, almost every congressman in the state almost, and Senator McSally Sinema was there too, and it was discussion for binational relations and trade with Mexico. Very informative, good information. Basically it was for the USMCA agreement, so we don't know where that's at or where it's going to go at the end of the year. See if Mexico and Canada and the United States really support it, and what direction it's going to be going. And like Councilman Barona attended the Memorial Day celebration, great event like always, and I want to thank Commander Diaz for that, and all the members also of the VFW and the American Legion on that. And then I had a visit by Mark Kelly, who was running for U.S. Senate. He was in my office, great information. He has great plans. We don't know where that's going to be going, but it's an option for anybody that plans to vote during the time, but he's a good man. He's an astronaut. He's an astronaut, and he did stop by when we were having our meeting, and he did recommend to put in $100,000 a line item on NASA, and Mr. Varona agreed to it, and Mr. Hanesian said no. Mr. Hanesian said no, nothing for NASA. He was just joking. Same day, Representative Daniel Hernandez was here too, and we discussed the wall. We discussed the binational relations, trade, and everything. He's been very supportive in my office, and they both came in and talked to the members of the council. I had a visit by Raul Grijalva also, and during the same process, different day, and Congressman Grijalva is also, he's working very hard in trying to get these problems along the border resolved, and he's helping us with the IOI, helping us with anything that we've been working at, and Mr. Kissinger was part of the meeting with me, and it was very informative. And I think he's been a great help to us. And he also came to visit the members of the city council while they were here, relaxing, having fun. I was busy in my office trying to do something for this body. Is that Robert? Yes, sir. Okay. And then, well, we attended 3 days of budget hearings, and they were very good. And I want to thank all the members of the city council for that, even though we're not balanced. We're still working on it, but the work you guys did in those 3 days, I want to thank you. It was very good. I think it was a learning lesson to all of us, and by the looks of it, I think it was a learning lesson to all the department heads too. So let's continue working on that so we can balance the budget and we can have a good working document for the next fiscal year. So that's the extent of my report. And future agenda items? Yes. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council, June 14th this year will be the Army's birthday. The Army recruiters came out of Tucson and they chose Nogales to celebrate the Army's birthday, and they're going to do it in Jesus Cordova Park from 10 to 12. I think they're going to have a little tent or little tables and a little festivities going there. I took the liberty to grant them that. I was sure that the council would support that decision to celebrate the Army's birthday on June 14th.
When is the Navy's birthday?
June 14th.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good.
June
I
14th
support
from
all
10 to
branches.
12. I haven't been approached by the Navy yet, sir, but I assume
Hey.
it'll come quick.
I have 2 honorable discharges, one from the Navy, one from the Army, so that's good.
So we're good. We're
Yes,
covered.
we're good.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Yes, anything else? Go ahead, Councilman.
The last meeting I had requested several items to be placed on the agenda. I'm still missing some. Dr. Felix, what do I need to do? On one of them, I've asked for 8 months. But this thing on the Rio Rico water, we missed a deadline or something.
So maybe we could just have a quick discussion. It's just a letter to the Rio Rico Water Company, so it would be bringing it to City Council for authorization to send a letter of termination. It's a 25-year contract. We're 8 years into it. It requires a 7-year notice to terminate, so we have 10 years to give them the notice to terminate.
But they have to get notice that we want them to build their own.
Right, but that's basically to terminate the agreement, and they have to take their wastewater elsewhere
At the end of the agreement.
at the end of the agreement.
Well, what I'm concerned about is, once again, Mr. Massey, faces change.
Yeah.
People forget. Termination dates accidentally slip by because nobody's paying attention. And I just want to make sure it's easier to give notice.
Right.
And then have them come back and say, we got this notice, there's a new mayor and council, here, could you please take this up?
Right.
Then rather than miss the date,
Right.
because there's all new faces.
All right, I'll put that on the next agenda.
Would you please? Yes. Thank you, Mr. And I have some other items, but I think Mr. Kissinger's been keeping a list. I don't know why he's been ignoring it. I'll find out.
If he's been ignoring it, it's my fault.
It's your fault. So the reason for, and then I have one on the fire, the cancer that the Mesa Fire Department has been having. They lost a firefighter because of cancer around the fire station. I'd like for you guys to address it if we have a concern.
Yeah, I remember talking, yeah.
And also the veterans, we want to be recognized as a veteran supporter.
Yes.
I think that's very important. Okay, Mayor, that's it. It's time for me to go home.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I just got a question, Mayor. Being that we're gonna be traveling, towards the end of the month, the items 2, 3, and 4, expire on June 30th.
No, they have a 6-month automatic extension.
Is that correct?
What items?
On the union contract.
Oh.
If they're not, if we don't come to an agreement at the end of the contract, there's a 6-month automatic extension on there.
I do not have encyclopedic knowledge of these contracts, so I
just
don't
read
know.
it, and they're right here in front of me. I can show them to you after the meeting where it says, and I'm not sure that all 3 of them say, if you're negotiating and the time expires, it extends automatically for 6 months. Look it up and come back to me. Tell us.
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure we're
No, we're not, believe me, no se me pasan las cosas. I won't go. Don't worry about it. I got it under control. All right.
Make sure.
All right?
Thank you, Mayor.
This meeting's adjourned.